Hi, this is Girish, and I'm about to share with you my experiences with outdoor portrait photography between December 2003 and July 2015. I will also discuss the lessons that these experiences have taught me. In many ways, this was my first successful photograph. I made it on a pleasant Wednesday afternoon at Anjuna Beach in Goa. I had the Canon AE1 program camera. This is an all analog manual camera and a Sears 80-200 f4 lens with me that afternoon. I have high regard for this lens. It's well built and razor sharp. Back in 2003, I was a student of photography. I would wake up early in the morning to photograph the city waking up. All the photos that I'm showing you now were made with the FP mount 50mm 1.8 manual focus lens. Now remember, the field of view of a 50mm lens on the AE1 program is larger than what we get with an APS-C sensor camera. I don't find inspiration in cities. I would often do day trips to nearby villages. Around the middle of 2004, I traveled to remote areas of a neighboring state equipped only with my Canon AE1 program and the 50mm 1.8 lens. I went to photograph pre-primary schools in little hamlets. The only way to get to these hamlets from the main town was by boat. I wish I had made photos of the man rowing us to the other side. The early monsoon light was spectacular, but I had limited understanding of travel photography back in 2004. It was a conscious decision to angle my camera down at my subjects, but now I prefer shooting from eye level. These were my formative years as a photographer. I was preoccupied with camera settings and composition rather than enjoying the moment and making the most of the opportunity to learn something from my subjects. But looking back at all these photographs 11 years later, I'm proud of the way in which I used light even back in 2004. I like making photographs in low light where the light coming in through a door or a window is my primary source of light. I used the Fuji Press 800 ISO color film but exposed for 3200 ISO. That is a two-stop push. I did a two-stop push on the black and white film as well. That's I exposed the Kodak 400 for 1600 ISO. All this means that I underexposed the film by two stops and instructed the lab to overdevelop it accordingly. The benefits of doing this are faster shutter speeds. This helps a lot in the low light that I like to shoot in. I can also use narrow apertures, and pushing the film adds to the contrast. Pushing color film results in inaccurate color reproduction. But portraits such as the ones in this audiovisual are works of semi-fiction, a fusion of the artist statement and the subject statement, then left to the interpretation of the viewer. I made prints and mailed it back to the school, asking the principal to hand over the photographs to the families. I'm sure that these are the only photographs that they have from their childhood. Looking back, this trip was extremely critical to my development as a photographer. Now moving on to digital photography, it took a while to get used to the 9-point autofocus system after 8 years of focusing the camera manually. The biggest challenge was having to change my aperture value on the camera body rather than on the lens. Today my favorite portrait lens is the 16-35 2.8 on an APS-C sensor camera. I use the 40 2.8 when I want to travel light. I'm a lot more comfortable with color photography today, but lots of times I'm making photos in the monochrome mode even on digital cameras. The best advice that I can give you is always set your image quality to raw and never delete any photos. Your editing skills are only going to become better with time. You will start to look at your work differently and notice new things in old photographs. Inexperienced photographers have this tendency to use telephoto lenses and zoom in on their subjects, often cropping off the top of their head or showing very little of the neck. I like to include more of the body and a bit of the environment. Subtle elements here and there give insights to the personality and the culture.